How's it going, everybody? ChaoticMeatball here, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're handling the last of the Gen 2 legendaries in our FireRed LeafGreen Legendary Speedrun Series in Raikou. This electric type is very similar to its relatives in the Beast trio, getting coverage moves like Bite, Crunch, Dig, and Return, and mainly focusing on its own typing with things like Thundershock, Shockwave, Thunderbolt, and Thunder. Lastly, of course, Raikou can get Calm Mind, so we've got some good moves to take advantage of with it. Not to mention, we've got a base 115 special attack and speed, so sweeping anything in front of me shouldn't be a problem. How fast could I do this run? Well, leave a comment predicting that time below, but before we get into it, today's video is sponsored by Mech Arena. Have you ever played Pokemon Unite? Well, Mech Arena is similar in the team-based gameplay, but come on, what's cooler than piloting mechs in exhilarating combat matches against other players, either in a 5v5, 2v2, or a capture the checkpoint style of gameplay? It's action-packed and has different playstyles for you to choose from. Do you enjoy hanging back and destroying your opponents from afar, or do you like to get up in their face and laugh at them while you blast away? Well, this game has both and more. The graphics are also fantastic, and you can really see the detail when it comes to customizing your mechs. One of my favorite skins I unlocked for the Paragon mech is the Mahogany Wood exotic skin, almost giving me an Ancient Guardian coming back for vengeance type of vibe. It's also my favorite mech to use in battle, as the autocannons hold a boatload of rounds and can deal out massive damage against opponents, though the Lancer and the RPG-2s are fantastic for when I want to get a move on, and still deal some good damage. As for events, there's plenty of daily welcome rewards to incentivize you to come back for a spurt of fun each day, all the way through the month, where you can get a bunch of amazing weapons like the new disc launcher. On top of that, there's some special Halloween festivities in the form of events and skins to nab up. Mech Arena is completely free to play on Android and iOS, and you can use my personal link or the QR code here on screen to get the Desert Digital skin, 200 A coins, and 10,000 credits to help kickstart your adventure. And if you're quick enough, you can add me to your friends list by using my player ID, and we'll be able to play some matches together. But beware, I'm highly competitive and will try to get more kills than you. Take it as your own challenge. Thanks again to Mech Arena for sponsoring today's video, and let's get into it. So, the starter that I gave my rival this time is Bulbasaur, and since it's the only one that resists electric, since flying with Charizard dies and water with Blastoise dies just as easily, it makes sense. I easily take him out with 3 bites, proceed with the story, eventually making it to Brock at level 10. I figured there was no reason for me to level up more than what the trainers pre-Brock would provide, so let's just take him out. He leads with Geodude, so I just spam Bite, taking him out in 2 bites and leading to Onyx. Bite does slightly more than a third, not flinching as he hits Rock Tomb, lowering my speed and hitting me with Bind next turn, but 2 more bites is enough to take him out, winning me the fight and bringing Raikou up to level 11, learning Thundershock in the process. With that move in my arsenal, I now have 55 power points at a mere level 11 to tear through required trainers, so I don't have to heal nearly as often as I would with other Pokemon in the same spot. Route 3 and Mount Moon are not anything to worry about, letting me casually stroll into Cerulean City and walk into Misty's gym, taking out her trainers and getting to level 16 before taking her on. Staryu is her lead, getting outsped and nailed with Thundershock, bringing it into the red as she uses Harden. This heal locks her, wasting a super potion and letting me take it out with 2 more Thundershocks, leaving just Starmie. Water Pulse does a little under half of my remaining HP, but it does more than a third total, and since I don't outspeed, I quickly realize that I'm going to need to rely on either getting a critical or paralysis to get past her without wasting in-game time. This only takes a few attempts, however, getting a critical on the last attack on Starmie in order to win the Cascade badge. We're bum rushing the early game pretty well, and I'm pretty sure the next gym isn't going to be too difficult at all as well, so I'm not too worried about this. Immediately after the gym is our second rival battle. Now usually I take him on before the gym, but this time I can get away with pushing it until afterwards. He leads with Pidgeotto, an easy 2-shot with Thundershock, taking 2 quick attacks before Rattata comes out next. Raikou outspeeds and hits Bite for over half, but it doesn't flinch, letting him land Tackle as I land a second next turn to take it out, with Abra coming out third. Bite one-shots here, leaving just Bulbasaur, but unfortunately for me, despite Bite getting a critical, it does not flinch, letting him connect with a Sleep Powder. I've still got 33 HP though, so I should be fine, right? No. I stay asleep for 4 turns straight, and it lets him land 4 Vine Whips, KOing me and making me do the fight again. Oh well. Either way, the second attempt goes much better. Despite the fact that he lands Sleep Powder on the first attempt, Raikou only stays asleep for 2 turns this time. Then he misses Sleep Powder twice as Bite KOs in a couple of attacks, winning me the fight. 2 attempts for this fight isn't too bad, so I'm pretty happy. Routes 24 and 25 don't give me any problems, but I do end up picking the TM for Secret Power while I'm here, as well as the TM for Dig from the Rocket Grunt in Cerulean City. And in hindsight, I probably should have taught both of these moves in preparation for the third rival fight, but I should be able to get away with just Thundershock and Bite for now. Over on the SSN, he once again leads with Pidgeotto, getting one-shot by Thundershock as Raticate comes out, getting flinched by the first bite and going down to the second as his third Pokemon in Kadabra goes down to a single bite, leaving just Ivysaur while Raikou's at full HP. Bite flinches on the first attack, then crits on the second, taking out Ivysaur and winning me the battle without a single attack coming out of my opponent. Now that is what I'm talking about. You could say that I'm just playing Bite Turbo. In preparation for the battle against Lieutenant Surge, I taught both Secret Power and Dig for coverage, and despite Raikou having a lower base physical attack with 85, Dig should still assist me in winning this battle because it's super effective as opposed to resisted. You know, because that's how Pokemon type charts work. Anyway, first out is Voltorb, so I go with Dig, barely missing the KO as he lands with Screech on the turn that I come up, healing next turn with a Super Potion as Secret Power does less than half, so I go for a second, flinching and finishing it off with Thundershock. Second out is Pikachu, who does go down to a single Dig, thankfully without static triggering, leaving just Raichu. I'm able to outspeed since I'm not paralyzed, so I figured going for Bite and trying to flinch since Dig is definitely not one-shotting from this position, but that unfortunately triggers static. Though I guess it doesn't matter since he went for Thunder Wave anyway. Would have been nice if he flinched, but that aside, I just kept going for Bite, being paralyzed and of course missing twice after he sets up a single double team, screwing me out of a well-deserved victory, only to have to fight him once again. Back to Raichu on the second attempt, and I'm basically in the same position I was before, but this time, Bite actually flinches like I wanted to instead of triggering static, letting me use Dig and KO with it next turn, winning the fight very easily. Well, as planned, but yes, very easily. I'm given the TM for Shockwave as well as the Thunder Badge, giving the former straight to Raikou over Thundershock for that extra 20 power and guaranteed landing effect, because that's really useful through things like Double Team, of course. So of course it's time for that part of the video where we go through the stretch of Route 9, Rock Tunnel, and Route 8 to get to Celadon City. So I figured it's again plug time. First of all, I'd like to once again request that if you haven't subscribed to this channel, that you should. We're only around 3,000 subscribers away from 100k, and I'm hoping that we as a community can push this channel to that before the end of October. Secondly, I've recently started the Shiny Only Let's Go Professor Oaks challenge over on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/ChaoticMeatball. I've put the link in the description, but recently, I've learned that YouTube purposely makes it so that Twitch links are garbled up and do not work properly when clicked. Probably because it's a YouTube competitor and they don't want people leaving their platform, so I'm just gonna make people aware of this bullshit so that they're able to give YouTube some flack for it. Anyway, I posted a schedule for this week's video uploads and streams in the community tab, as I will be doing every Monday from now on, so keep a lookout for that. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, right, general plugs. Follow me on Twitter and join the Discord server if you want alerts to my videos and streams and or unfunny memes, and I have a second channel that I'm uploading Yu-Gi-Oh! Content to, so I'd suggest checking out that for funny moments like this.
I'm gonna activate...
One of which you know it's fancies.
Yeah, I'm gonna activate Triple Tactics. I'm gonna take a look at that hand.
Sure. Oh my... Oh no, well, yeah.
Oh, get rid of the nib! Get it out of there! Get it out of there! Oh my goodness.
Anyway, let's get back to the video. After grabbing the HM for Fly, I accidentally ran into this difficult double battle that almost whited me out since fighting 2 fully evolved fire types while at the same level as them is very dangerous, who would have thought. But I guess that's what happens when you're not really paying enough attention to the game. Moving on, I figured I'd take on the Rocket Hideout before Erica's gym for a single reason, and that's the Black Glasses. This held item boosts the power of Dark-type moves, and I think that's going to be more useful than a Cherry Berry in this case. But before we can test that theory, I've got to take out Giovanni. He leads with Onyx, who only lands Rage once before going down to 2 bites, as does Rhyhorn after landing a 2-hit Fury attack. Last out is Kangaskhan, and it effectively trades back and forth with Raikou, using Fake Out for the guaranteed flinch, then trading bites with my Shockwaves, but on the 4th turn he goes for Mega Punch, barely missing the KO as I land a bite, but since I outspeed, I went for one more bite, KOing and winning the fight in red HP. Glad that Giovanni didn't once again try to humiliate me, despite being literally the worst trainer ever, but with his defeat I can finally move into Erica's gym. She leads with Victory Bell, getting hit with a critical bite that also flinches, kinda nice, but it brings her into the red, forcing her to heal. Unfortunately, that means 2 more bites does not KO, and the second of those doesn't flinch, so she's able to get off a Giga Drain. Thankfully for me, it's not enough to heal her out of range from another bite, going down and leading to Tangela. 2 bites does it in, but not before Poison Powder lands, but is negated thanks to my Lumberry, which I wanted to test first before trying to throw on the black glasses. But turns out it didn't matter since I won on the first try. Oh, right, I'm not done with the battle yet. Last out is Vileplume, and it does end up paralyzing me with Stun Spore after I land a bite for a round of 4th. Fortunately, I'm not held down at all as I just continue to go with Bite, getting it in range of Quick Attack on my last legs, and nailing it for the KO through the paralysis to win the fight. If I had gotten held down during any of those 5 or so turns of Bite and Giga Drain spam, I was totally screwed. But thankfully, I didn't have to try again, though losing my Lumberry this early kinda hurts, simply because I forgot to grab the Cherry Berry in front of Rock Tunnel during this run like I normally grab, but at the same time, negating the poison probably was a little bit more helpful. Next notable battle on the docket is the 4th rival battle up in Pokemon Tower, and despite this not being as easy as the SSN encounter, that doesn't mean anything because he didn't even land a single attack that time. Once again, he leads with Pidgeotto, actually landing a Quick Attack before going down to Shockwave, sending in Gyarados as his second Pokemon. I have no clue why the AI would do that, but it immediately dies to Shockwave, as all Gyarados will, leaving just 3 more Pokemon to take out. Third out is Growlithe, who also goes down to Shockwave, as his 4th Incadabra goes down to Bite, leaving just Ivysaur. Bite takes him down into the red as he uses Poison Powder, basically wasting the only turn he had to do anything to me, and going down to a second, letting me move on from there. I'm able to get the Poke Flute from Mr. Fuji after rescuing him and move on over to Saffron City for the Sylph Company, because I want access to Calm Mind as soon as possible, and I think I'm going to be able to do it without having to go around and grind too much. After getting the card key and healing up with the bed, I'm able to fight my rival for the 5th time. I tried initially at level 35 as he leads with Pidgeot, quick attacking twice as I KO with 2 Shockwaves. Gyarados is once again out second and once again dies immediately to Shockwave, with Growlithe coming out 3rd. Bite takes it down in 2 shots as Alakazam comes out 4th, getting out a Future Sight before going down to 2 bites, leaving just Venusaur. Sadly, this is where I get the brick wall though, as Bite does jack all to Venusaur, letting him basically pick me off with Future Sight and Razor Leaf, leaving me to think up a new strategy. And for a speedrun, oddly enough, I think the fastest thing I could do here is get a few early levels on Raikou here in the Sylph Company, getting to level 38 in preparation for the 2nd attempt against the 5th rival fight. Not much is different here, as Shockwave still doesn't one-shot Pidgeot, though Growlithe does get an attack off, only using Leer, and Alakazam goes for Calm Mind instead of an immediate Future Sight, getting me much closer to taking out Venusaur, taking it to the low yellow before he was able to put me to sleep with Sleep Powder and take me out with Razor Leaf. So I pulled the trigger, using 3 out of my currently 6 rare candies to bring Raikou up to level 41, replacing Shockwave with Spark to get that additional 5 power and try it again. The 3rd attempt didn't go well, so I figured I'd swap my held item from the black glasses to the citrus berry so that I'd have that extra HP to outlast Venusaur at the end. Getting into the 4th attempt, Spark does end up one-shotting Pidgeot after it lands Quick Attack, taking out Gyarados just as well before Growlithe comes in 3rd. Bite does half as he uses a light takedown, going down to a 2nd bite as Alakazam comes in, setting up Reflect as it goes down to 2 bites. Probably should have taught that thing Light Screen, but alas, last Pokemon is Venusaur, and it's not too long after it comes out that a few bites is able to do him in, mostly because he wastes literally every turn he could be attacking with Sweet Scent, landing a Sleep Powder that only lasted for 2 turns, and letting me flinch with my 2nd to last bite before taking him out and win the fight. Well, that was a lot easier than it should have been. Kinda wish he used the Sweet Scents against Raikou when it was level 38 and didn't make me waste my rare candies, but I think one-shotting Pidgeot was also pretty important, all things considered. Last major fight in here is against Giovanni, who does put up a pretty decent fight, all things considered, since Nidoqueen has that partial ground typing to keep it away from Spark working on it, and on my closest attempt, his last Pokemon in Rhyhorn was able to take me out with Stomp, though the poison would have done the same thing even if he flinched. So I once again combed through the building for some more trainers to grind on, taking out enough to get to level 44 before trying again. Giovanni leads with Nidorino, taking a bit over half from Spark as Poison Sting hits, barely doing any damage as the second KOs and Nidoqueen comes in. I use Dig to get some super effective damage in, doing around a third as Poison Point unfortunately kicks in, poisoning Raikou, but that's fine for now since she just goes for a light Poison Sting on the turn I come up. This lets me swap over to Bite, then use Dig again to bring it into Deep Red territory, firing off another Bite after the Citrus Berry heals me ever so slightly, KOing and leading to Kangaskhan. Unfortunately for me though, this does manage to take out Raikou, so I just kept trying, hoping to get the right combo of moves, but the very next attempt, I just didn't get poisoned by either of his Nidos, which is essentially a free win button against him, seeing as Kangaskhan can't do much outside of Mega Punch, which it neglects to do, going down as well as Rhyhorn to the first two bites, as the first flinches and the second takes it out, winning me the fight and clearing out Saffron and Team Rocket. Well, alright, now that that's handled, Sabrina's gym is opened up, and I'm only one important battle away from grabbing that amazing TM for Calm Mind. This time though, I figured I'd fight the trainers in the rooms that I need to travel through to get to her, getting to level 48 before the fight. She leads off with Kadabra, and a Black Glass's boosted bite is able to take it out as well as Mr. Mime in one bite apiece as the third Pokemon in Venomoth comes in. It's a bit of a distraction, confusing Raikou after it lands a Spark for around 75%, forcing Raikou to hit itself and in all do around 30% damage before going down to a second Spark, leaving just Alakazam. Bite isn't enough to KO, letting him set up a Calm Mind, but I'm still able to heal lock Sabrina's AI, taking it out in 2 more bites and winning the March Badge, but more importantly, the TM for Calm Mind. Alright, time to win the game now. I travel back to Celadon City in order to get the TM for Reflect from the top of the department store, as well as get enough money for coins to get the TM for Thunderbolt, teaching it over Spark for the extra 25 power, and now I should be ready to run through the remainder of the gyms. Jumping ahead of the filler, let's just do the last rapid-fire 3 gyms. First is Koga, leading with Coughing as I destroy it with Thunderbolt, leading to Muck, who does go down to 2 of them, but of course his second Coughing and his last Pokemon in Wheezing both go down to a single Thunderbolt each, winning me the Soul Badge in quick fashion. Second on the list is Blaine, and as he leads with Growlithe, it gives me time to set up 4 Calm Minds, but then he uses Roar to send me out. Right, I always forget about this. I tried again, only setting up 3 before using Thunderbolt to take it out, using 2 more Calm Minds against Ponyta before taking it, Rapidash, and Arcanine all out with a single Thunderbolt apiece, giving me the Volcano Badge. Last up on the list is Giovanni, and with respect to Raikou's ground weakness akin to Entei, giving it Reflect before the fight is pretty smart, which, funnily enough, Raikou gets by level up at 51, so I can save the TM potentially for later before getting into this fight. Anyway, Giovanni leaves with Rhyhorn, so I go for 3 Calm Minds, since he will 100% go for 3 Scary Faces with Rhyhorn, but that's still not enough to get both of his Rhyhorns to outspeed Raikou. But he misses the 3rd Scary Face, so I figured why not swap for Reflect, get hit by the 3rd, then KO with Bite and take no damage, but instead I go for Reflect, and he misses again, so I do get the 4th Calm Mind off, taking him out with Bite with no damage next turn as Dugtrio comes in second. Earthquake does less than a Dragon Rage would in this instance, going down to Bite as Nidoqueen's out 3rd. I kind of need to not get a Poison Point trigger here, and thankfully, despite both it and Nidoking hitting powerful Earthquakes that take Raikou all the way down to 8 HP, 1 bite apiece is able to take them both out without it triggering, leaving just the second Rhyhorn to fall to an outsped Bite, winning me the last badge in very fast fashion on my first try. Guess it pays to remember strategies from previous runs in order to employ them in newer ones. Alright, 6 battles to go, and the 6th rival fight actually goes extremely smoothly, as I just set up enough Calm Minds to take out Pidgeot and Gyarados with Thunderbolt, Rhyhorn with Bite, Growlithe with Thunderbolt, and Alakazam with Bite, all before the wall that is Venusaur that it comes in last. Of course, Bite only does around a third as he goes for growth. Kinda scary as the second Bite lands, but he goes for synthesis, which outpaces Bite in terms of healing to damage. But fortunately for me, this doesn't matter as Bite just gets a critical hit on the third attack, KOing and winning the fight.
That was easy.
Yeah, about time I actually have this button for a situation like this. One victory road later in which I actually take on a single trainer to push me over to level 54, and I'm ready to take on the Indigo League. Last call for predictions on what time Raikou's ending this run at. Leave it in the comments below. Lorelei leads off with Dugong, so I set up 2 Calm Minds, taking out Dugong, Cloyster, Slowbro, and Lapras all with 1 Thunderbolt apiece as Jinx comes in last. Getting hit with Bite that takes her into the red, but it flinches, so I don't have to worry about Lovely Kiss. Heal locking her as I continue to lay in with Bite until she's KO'd, winning me the first fight on the first try. Perfect. Now that she's done, I fed the remainder of my rare candies to Raikou, getting it to level 58 before fighting Bruno. He leads with Onyx, so I just went for Calm Mind twice as he uses Rock Tomb, swapping over to Reflect as he misses the third, and KOing with Bite next turn as Onyx number 2 comes in. Earthquake does a minuscule amount as a critical Bite takes it out, leading to Hitmonchan. It goes for Sky Uppercut, not doing much as Thunderbolt takes it out, leading to Hitmonlee and a Brick Break, which shatters my Reflect and takes Raikou down to 12 HP before going down to a single Thunderbolt, which leaves of course just Machamp. And thankfully for me though, Raikou at -2 speed is still enough to outspeed Machamp, giving me the chance to one-shot with Raikou, winning once again on my first try. Not too bad if I say so myself, didn't even have to check calculations to ensure that Raikou would outspeed Machamp, and not have to worry about the Hitmons. Third up is Agatha, and she's a bit tough simply because she's actually able to survive my first attempt at her, as I didn't set up enough Calm Minds on her thanks to a Toxic Poison from her first Gengar, leaving me to not one-shot Arbok with Thunderbolt. So on the second try, I just set up 1 more than I did last time, but this time she goes for Double Team rather than immediately going for Toxic, letting me set up 2 before missing with Bite, which then does give her the opportunity to hit me with Toxic, but Bite is able to connect on the second try and KO as Golbat comes in second. Both it and Arbok fall to a single Thunderbolt apiece, with the second Gengar coming out fourth and going down to a Bite that actually outspeeds. Pretty rare that I outspeed the second Gengar with anything, but that's enough to push through the last turn of Toxic Poison, KOing her last Pokemon in Gengar with Bite, winning me the match. Very close, and honestly I think she's the most difficult member out of the group, simply because of the evasion and poison tactics, which pair relatively well together. Fourth up is Lance, and what a shock, I'm pretty much able to sweep him, though it does take a little bit of work to get it all set up. Gyarados is Lance's lead and only really has Bite and Dragon Rage, with the former doing worse and worse damage as I set up Calm Minds, so I get 2 of them off before firing off a Thunderbolt for the KO, leading to the first Dragonair. Bite takes it into the red, leading to a Safeguard and heal locking him for next turn as they set up a third Calm Mind, but that's not quite enough to push the damage threshold to enough to KO, and lets him land an Outrage for some decent damage next turn. But instead of setting up a fourth Calm Mind, I just went for a second Bite, taking it out and leading to the second Dragonair. Bite actually ends up getting a high roll here though, one-shotting and leading to his fourth Pokemon in Dragonite, who goes down to a single Thunderbolt thanks to the neutrality it has against electric moves. This leaves just Aerodactyl to get outsped and one-shot with Thunderbolt. Nice. One battle remains between me and the championship, and I think this is going to end in pretty quick fashion. Though the first 2 attempts do get throttled pretty easily, mostly because Pidgeot on the first attempt decides to spam 3 sand attacks as I set up with Calm Mind. And despite KOing 2/3 of his team even at -3 accuracy, Raikou's in range of Arcanine's extreme speed here, forcing me to reset and try again. The second try doesn't go as well as I don't have enough time to set up Calm Mind, only using 1 against Pidgeot to match its sand attack and trying to set up against Rhydon, but it takes me down pretty quickly even through Reflect. Third time's the charm, and this time he only uses 1 sand attack before shifting into Aerial Ace, as I set up 4 more of them, getting 5 in total and shifting to Thunderbolt to KO Pidgeot. Second out is Rhydon, which goes down to Bite, Alakazam goes down to Bite, Gyarados goes down with a Thunderbolt, Arcanine also goes down to Thunderbolt, and Venusaur actually goes down to the newly learned Crunch at level 61, winning me the fight and ending the run with a time of 3 hours and 31 minutes. Well, color me surprised. I did not expect Raikou to come out on top of all of the legendary beasts, let alone be number 4 on the current tier list. Though, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. A special type that easily damages the first gym with Bite, a type advantage against the second gym with the electric type, and a type resistance against the third gym along with a coverage move and Dig. I probably should have expected that Raikou could have been able to do it all by this point. Anyway, that's the last of the Generation 2 legendaries. All we've got left in order is Mew, Mewtwo, Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno, and potentially Deoxys Defense to cap off the series if you guys want it. Speaking of which, leave that request in the comments below if you want me to do that. I'll see what I can do to shift around my schedule to fit it in there if I get enough requests for it. Anyway, next time in this series, I'll be trying the game out with Mew, the first base 100 all-arounder, and as a pure Psychic type, it should be fun. See you then! If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, tell a friend, and don't spend more than a minute doing that, since if you are, you're taking too long. I want to give a huge shout out to my $10 and above patrons: Justin Dimmenstein, Aaron Rhinesmith, Aiden Brannon, Alex Steiger, Alexander Abday, Andy, Casper Kirkpatrick, Heimflow, Jacob Johnson, King, Kyle Campbell, and Zeno. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you'd like to support as well, you can head over to my Patreon page, link in the description, where you can get access to stuff like videos early, an exclusive role on my Discord server, link also in the description, challenge requests, and much more. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this, and I'll see you guys next time with another challenge. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.